My name is Nick Foley and I'm with Celebrate the Hero. And what I want to talk to you today about is the Move for Inclusion initiative that our organization is putting on. Move for Inclusion started 4 days after my daughter was born when I was away on a business trip. And I overheard a conversation that I'd never thought in today's society of inclusivity that I would ever hear. I heard two dads talking about their daughter's class and describing in great detail, using unbelievably deplorable and awful words, a couple of individuals that their daughters have to play with and learn with and sit beside. And their mindset was under the understanding that because they had to sit beside these kids with physical and mental exceptionalities and disabilities and such, that their daughter's education was going to be affected in a negative way. What they don't understand is that I was a proud father. I'm still a proud father of a beautiful Bryn who's now 2, at the time was about 4 days old, who is a child living with what society deems as a disability. I've got a beautiful, wonderful daughter that has the ability to do many, many things, but I understood that at that moment that it was up to her dad to provide a platform to educate people across our nation about the importance of acceptance without bias. We live in a wonderfully diverse nation in which we promote inclusion all the time, but we need to continue to promote inclusion. We need to continue to move past tolerance and into the celebration of inclusivity without bias. And that's what we're hoping to do with Move for Inclusion. What Move for Inclusion is ultimately a fundraiser or an initiative to get kids going in a direction, to get people going in a direction towards inclusion, towards acceptance, towards understanding that we are all here under one roof together. On April 22nd, I'm going to cycle from Victoria, BC, all the way to July 26, St. John, Newfoundland. We would like to not only just be an organization in which, or initiative in which we're just trying to raise awareness, but we want to offer a service. And so my team and I, over the summer and over the last few months, have come up with a physical literacy program that we are offering all the schools that want to be involved with Move for Inclusion. I want people to get involved. I want people to understand the importance of acceptance without bias. I guess that's the overall message that I'm trying to convey. And my hope is that this ride will perhaps maybe inspire others to do things in their community or in their country to continue to celebrate inclusion. And I think at the end of the day, if we can inspire, people to live in a world that's a little bit more inclusive, or continue to build on the inclusivity that already exists in our nation, then I think we've done a pretty good job as an initiative. And I want people to understand that we need to humanize before we discriminate.
They scare you so much with the possibilities of what your child can become when you know that your child has Down syndrome. We were very lucky with Bryn. She doesn't have heart conditions, she doesn't have cataracts. She's a very healthy young little girl. She's very rarely sick. She impresses us every day. She's the funniest child. She's so loving. She catches the attention of everybody. It's something about her, and I don't know whether it's the Down syndrome or if it's just her, but people just gravitate to her, and she makes everybody smile, and our family alone has just been so blessed with her, and we just love her so much. Now that you have a child with an exceptionality, you really notice it more, and you notice children with exceptionalities more. I think there's a lot of different exceptionalities out there that we're not really aware of, and that can probably use a bigger voice, and maybe Nick's just that person to give it to them. Well, if you've ever met Nick, he's a very driven person. He's very stubborn. If you tell him he couldn't climb a mountain, he would go climb it tomorrow. Bryn's changed him a lot. I think anybody with a little girl, any dad with a little girl especially, can tell you that they're changed. They're absolutely changed. He's always kind of been a bit of a softy person. I knew he'd be a great dad. He's just very gentle with her, and he's very protective, a very protective father, and I think that's probably what's driven his inclusion as well. We want her to have as many opportunities, and really she's a normal child. She just has a little bit of a Bryn in her.
I want to talk about the importance of acceptance of all people without bias, and I'm just going to tell you stories. That's what I do. I tell stories. But the question I want to ask you right now is, how do you want to be remembered? I want to ask you this question. You know what? It was a question that was given to me by my best friend. This is my best friend, Brad. when I was in high school and university, I really didn't have any direction. I was playing hockey and things like that, and I went to school out east, way out east in Halifax, the other side of the country. And I remember being best friends with this guy. One of the best guys I've ever met. And he was one of those guys that just would go to a party and just everybody would want to be around him. He'd go to a friend's house and people just liked him. He was that kind of guy. Anybody ever know anybody like that when they enter a room, they just command the room? He's that person. One day I was sitting around, we were watching the hockey game. I said, Brad, what's your secret, man? He says, what do you mean? I go, I have no idea the direction I want to take. None. In fact, I called my mom. I was like 23, 24 years old. I called my mom. I was like, I want to be an astronaut. And she's like, you've never taken a math class ever in your life. So how do you think you can become an astronaut? I was like, what do you need math to float around in space for, right? I had no idea. And so I said to him, what's your secret? And he said to me, he said, let me ask you a question, man. I said, sure. He goes, how do you want to be remembered? I said, I don't know. One day I'd like to be remembered as a good guy. And he said, see, that's the difference between you and I. He said, every single day when I wake up in the morning, I ask myself that question, how do I want to be remembered today? When I walk into a room, I ask myself, how do I want this room to remember me today? When someone asks me to speak behind another person's back before I answer, I say, how do I want that person to remember me if they were standing behind me? Greatest advice I've ever received. He continued. He said, so often, Nick, we devalue the person we are now in favor of the person we one day hope to become. Don't be that person. If you want to be a good person now, be that person now. Unfortunately, a year after he gave me that advice, he died. And I never got a chance to thank my best friend for the amazing advice that he gave me. His birthday was yesterday. And it's not by coincidence that so did this ride started on that same day. My friends, as we go through our journey together over the next 30 minutes, 40 minutes, whatever it is, 25 minutes, ask yourself that question when you leave. If you take anything from me today, ask yourself the question, how do I want to be remembered today? How do I want to be remembered? Okay, brother.
All right, man.
See you again.
Yeah.
See you soon.
Yeah. Can't imagine what it's like on the bike.
And as you can see, he's actually just crossed his first province. How's it feel to have just crossed your first province?
It's pretty darn good, that's for sure.
I guess so.
Seems like that was a long journey.
It was like a 10-kilometer, 12-kilometer uphill run there.
I'm here now, though.
You're here now, though. And here just happens to be the wild rose country that is Alberta.
Yeah. So no trip to Calgary can be complete without getting a cowboy hat.
Side of the road here.
There it is.
That's perfect.
That looks great. So we made it out of the mountains, Nick.
We did, Darren.
They're about 60, 70K behind us. We're in Calgary. What does that mean, Nick?
Means that I promised my mom when I got out of the mountains that I would shave my beard.
You would shave your beard.
Yes, I told her. She kept asking me. She's like, since I started growing it, she said, Nick, when are you going to shave your beard? And I said, when I get out of the mountains. And now that we're actually out of the mountains, I'm going to shave it too.
It was handy in the mountains, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'd say. Remember that? Yeah, I would say.
Yeah.
When it was -3 or 4 up and there was rain and...
Sleet and hail and ice pellets and...
It did help.
Yeah, oh yeah, I know. That's why I have
It
one.
helped when I put food in it too.
Uh-huh.
I put like peanut butter there. And
Do you remember that day? What is that? It's solid peanut butter.
it froze to my beard. So.
It did. So we're gonna shave this beard off then.
Well, not we. I am. You're not having anything to do
What?
with it. Don't touch my face, man.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a new...
I'll just document it.
It's the end of an era, Darren.
It sure is.
I think we're good.
Yeah.
I think I found my keys that I lost.
What keys?
My house keys, they were in my beard. I encourage you to go out and do the things that you want to do in your existence. I encourage you to go out and take that step. Because one of the things that I've learned in this life, one of the things I've learned in this journey is if your why is big enough, your how every single time will show up. It is amazing what goals you can accomplish when accomplishing those goals is the only outcome you allow yourself. There is nothing in this world that can equate with the potential of the human spirit. I encourage you all to go out and find your potential. Because I see it in you. Your teachers see it in you. You need to see it in yourself. Today is, I think, day 27. Just got off the bike. I was traveling from Moose Jaw to Weyburn. It's a quarter after midnight. We just had a 12.5-hour bike ride. I left at around 11, and 176 kilometers doesn't take me 12.5 hours, but we had headwinds the entire way, and it was just awful. You know, we've had some tough times in the mountains, but I've never had anything more psychologically taxing than what I just witnessed or what I just accomplished today. I really miss my family. I miss Bryn a lot. It's really taxing. I've never in my life experienced anything like this before, and I wanted to kind of share with the people back home or what was going on in this on the daily grind of the Move for Inclusion initiative. Love you, Bryn.
See, I believe the term disability is too strong of a word. The doctor said, your daughter's going to have a disability for the rest of her life. He was a doctor, so I said, okay, doc. But I don't see it. She's exceptional in every sense of the word. Exceptional, just like you. Extraordinary, just like you. And she deserves to live in a world where acceptance without bias reigns supreme, just like you.
Just checking in here. This is 2 weeks away from being in Belleville, so I think it's day 30. It's been a pretty taxing time in Manitoba and in Saskatchewan. It was awful weather. We came from Carlisle into the Manitoba border, and it took me 7 hours to do 66 kilometers. We had 50-kilometer winds in front of me and 80-kilometer gusts from the side, and it was one of the worst experiences I've had so far. You know, mentally I feel strong, but I just miss home so much. I just don't know if, you know, I'm just hoping that this is all worth it. My family has sacrificed so much for me to be on this journey, and I don't want to let anyone down. I miss everyone so much, and it's so hard. I think we've raised a lot of awareness and hopefully inspired a lot of lives, but you know, this time away from everybody is I didn't account for this. I couldn't train for this. I'm hoping for some inspiration when I get back to Belleville. I do feel the love from home. I'm getting a lot of messages, and I thank you for that. Thank you so much. But you know, I just hope I have enough in me to soldier on. Hi everyone, it's me here, just checking in. I've got actually a really kind of a cool story that I want to share with you today. I was speaking in this little town, and after the presentation, a young guy came up to me, and he said, "Excuse me, sir." And I kind of looked down at him. He's just a little guy, might have been in grade 4, maybe 5. And he said, I said, "Yes." He goes, "Can I ask you a quick question?" I said, "Absolutely." He says, where does all the money that we donate to you, where does all the money that people donate to you go? And I looked at him, I said, what's your name? And he goes, my name is Michael. And I said, okay, Michael. I said, well, you'll be happy to know that 100% of all donations given to us go directly to charities, inclusion charities. And he went, really? 100%? All of it goes to inclusion charities? I said, absolutely. And at that point, he reached in his pocket and he pulled out $1.40 and he looked at it and he looked at me and he looked back down at it and he said, excuse me, Mr. Foley? And I said, yeah. And he goes, it's not much, but it's all I got. Do you think that you can make sure that this money goes to charities so that kids like me can feel included? And I was just like, you know, absolutely, Michael, I think I can do that for you. At the same time, trying to hold back tears. It's stories like that, though, I tell you, that makes things, that makes this worth it. You know, it was a little gesture. It's kids realizing that they do have a voice and the things that they do does matter. And I'll tell you what, you know, what Michael doesn't realize is that small little gesture of the $1.40 will go a long way into making this world that much more inclusive. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with you, and my hope is you were inspired by that little story as I was to be involved in it, and maybe it'll inspire you to do something to enhance the lives of other people, just like Michael did for me today.
Well, it's been a little while since we've recorded. We had a very busy trip through Ontario. And we are now about 1.5 kilometers or so from the border with Quebec. We've got a couple of extra cyclists with us. That's Phil Kerr in the eye catcher, as I like to call it, because a lot of people check him out in that thing. And John Kerr on the other bicycle. No relation. And they've been with us since Belleville. Belleville was great. We had a wonderful couple of days off there. Spent some time at a fundraiser with some friends. And time with the family, of course, which was very important. There was no sign! There was no sign! But we're in Quebec.
Place where there is one.
Yeah, I know. All right, how's it feel to have another province gone?
Feels good to be out of Ontario.
Yeah.
Would it take a month?
Is something like that, yeah?
Now we have 5 to do in 30 days, 31, 33 days.
Good work, gentlemen.
Woo-wee.
There it is.
Woo.
Awesome, well done. Any words for Ontario?
Thank you, Ontario.
Thank you, Ontario.
Done as well. That was fun.
When I was 13 years old, I was racing motocross. It was the summer going into grade 10. One of the Sunday after I was done racing, that day I crashed my bike. I flew over the handlebars and I got up and I finished the race. That night my back was really sore, so I thought it was something to do with that crash. Throughout that week, my back just got more and more sore. To the point where I was seeing actually somebody every day because I couldn't actually lay down due to the pain. So when I was sleeping, I slept up against the wall. And by the Friday, so it had been about 5 days in, I started feeling some numbness in my legs, which brought me to the hospital. Doctors just gave me some painkillers, so it was spasms, it would go away. It did not. By Sunday morning, I was back in the hospital. I couldn't even stand. I was falling to the ground. And they rushed me to Sick Kids, where they put me in MRI. I woke up about a day later and had major surgery on my spine where they removed a tumor, which later I found out was cancer. It was a really, really tough time for me when I realized that I couldn't do all these sports that I once did. And then all my friends would carry on to do it, and I wanted to support them because they were my friends, and you know, that was something we loved to do together, and I didn't want to see them stop doing it. I did my best every day, I guess, to try and just stay happy for everyone, whether it was just daily living or in those sports and around my friends. I got into adaptive sports. Now I do adaptive wakeboarding, which has got me on the road traveling, doing different demos and contests, as well as a few other adaptive sports to just do for fun. And yeah, that's pretty much me. I also do speaking with Nick Foley at Celebrate the Hero. When I first started speaking, I wasn't sure really what I was going to take from that. I kind of felt really weird about it. I didn't know why people wanted to hear my story. But it was after that I spoke and I talked to the kids and I got emails from the kids that I found out what it was. And you know, it may not seem huge to a lot of people, but just a couple little messages, you know. This one kid, he came up to me and said, I haven't skateboarded in 3 years after I broke my arm. I used to skateboard every day, I loved it. And he said, Phil, guess what I'm gonna go home and do tonight? I said, what are you gonna do? He said, I'm gonna get back on my skateboard. I thought that was just amazing. Nick's opened up eyes to so many people in our community, and not only that, across Canada now that he's done the whole bike ride across Canada. He's made, I think, a lot of people kind of, I feel like it's one of those things that people just don't really speak up, you know, they notice it, but when Nick spoke up about it and wanted to put it into move, I feel like so many other people backed him up because he was such a well-known guy and liked by so many others that there's so many other people that jumped on and they have helped out. And I feel like the team together has really made an awesome difference.
How you doing?
Good. With my brother-in-law, Gary.
That's right.
Proud to be here.
How's it going, Gary?
So far, so good. Only fallen 3 times.
That's right.
4 flat tires.
Yep.
What else? A couple chains coming off.
I think
He's
we've,
persevering.
I think we've got that problem beat, though.
Oh yeah, we're good now.
I think so.
I think we're good.
So we jinxed it. We just jinxed it.
What are you listening to, Gary?
I'm listening to everything. I got Eminem on here. Yellow Wolf. 50 Cent.
Let it snow or let it go.
Yeah, who sings Let It Go?
Who sings Let It Go?
Somebody Disney
Frozen.
related.
It's my favorite song.
Elsa sings it.
I wonder if
Elsa.
Eminem will do a remix.
Elsa,
Let It Go.
Yeah. What else do I have on here? Some motivational speeches.
Your heart will go on. Celine Dion.
No, I don't have that.
Anyway, gonna hit the road again.
Bye.
We'll catch up later.
So what's the rundown of the day look like?
Well, we get up, what we've done, get ready, we get to the car. We drive to where we left off yesterday, which is 11 kilometers east of where we are now, Gander. And then Gary and I get on the bikes and we go about 100, around 100 a day. And that'll get our number down to about 222. So it usually takes us, well, depending on the wind and the hills and such, it's been pretty cold here in Newfoundland the last couple days, so it takes us about 5 to 7 hours to get the distance done. Then we get off the bikes, we eat, sleep, and do it all again the next day, man. Yeah, it's good. I wouldn't say good, Edgar.
Challenging. Challenging. Good days. Good days, better days. I'm only getting a glimpse of what Nick's gone through, and wow. Pretty remarkable.
We're glad he's here. He's good for morale, man.
Yeah. No, it's just, once you get on the bike, you start feeling better. But you get up in the morning, your legs are a little sore. Your whole body's sore. A couple beers, I usually have a couple beers that night. Take the edge off and then have a good sleep, and away we go. So
Gluten-free beer.
yeah. Oh yeah, gluten-free, yeah, for sure.
Everything's gluten-free.
Yeah.
Gluten-free sleeps.
Gluten-free nachos. Gluten-free wings, you know. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna ride in the van today.
No, you're not. There's no room, man. We got the bikes in there.
I'm not moving over, are you? You can't.
I'm jammed up tight here. I'm not sure I'm getting out today.
You're getting out. Darren, we need a pep talk.
He's getting.
This is what you need for a bike ride across Newfoundland. You need bum cream, you need A535, and you need a lead. If you don't have these three, you can't do it.
No, just can't do it.
Won't do it. Bryn is on a plane in 20 minutes, Ben. It's been a long time. Like, you know, you ride these things, right? You do this to raise the awareness, and you do it for your little daughter and that. But I mean, it's being away from the family that's so taxing, right? I owe a lot to, obviously, to Brooke for, you know, being supportive in this and holding it all together at home. Someone asked me the other day, like, what's next? I said, I'm just gonna hold on to my daughter and not let her go for months. You know, I was saying to Gary, it's just one of those things when you're like, especially when you're getting through, you know, you look at your pictures that you have on your bike, and you know, you just think of those moments of just seemingly innocuous moments that you don't pay much attention to until you don't have them on the everyday, you know, and then when you get back to that, it just makes you appreciate just how good you have it. Have a healthy little girl and wonderful support from all your family, and being back in your hometown is gonna be great. It's gonna mean the world to see them, man, for sure. 300 to go though.
Flat tire?
Woo!
I have
Two? You have two?
We only have one inner tube.
That's what happens when you hit a rock. Very seldom, Ben, can a man
Pop two
Pop
tires
2 tires
at once. On the home stretch too. Oh boy. I might have to walk my bike in, but we'll get her changed up here.
You're going pretty good. And then he popped them both. How'd you pop them both?
He's a champ, that's how.
Rock. Culprit right there. Sharp. I'm gonna give this to Nick. How many tubes is that now? 9? 9. This will be 9. This happens when big guys ride bikes.
8.
Pop, pop. Break time, I guess. Here, man, got you something. Nick.
Is that the rock?
That's the rock.
This is the guy.
That's the one. Look how sharp it is.
It's not like it snuck up on you. I can see this rock from St. John's.
It's a pretty big rock I hit.
I remember a day and a time when I was completely ignorant as to what to do when a bike had a flat. Well, those days are long behind me now. I can thank Gary for all the education I've received.
Want to go to St. John's?
You want to go to St. John's? You want to ride? Let's go. Let's ride. Kick up, Seiji!
I didn't really know Nick very well to begin with. One of the people who actually is a big part of Move for Inclusion, Heather Barker, is a very dear friend of mine, and she approached me and said, "Hey, you know Nick Foley?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I know him. I don't really know him well." And she said, "You know, he's doing this charity bike ride across Canada." And I said, "Yeah, I heard something about that." And she said, "Well, do you think you could get 3.5 months off work?" And I said, "No." That's no. But she explained that he needed a support vehicle driver, and that she thought I'd be really good at the job. So I put in for the leave of absence at Quinte Healthcare, and after doing that, they approved it, and I was quite surprised actually that they had. So after I was told they approved it, it took me about a day and a half maybe to actually think about, did I want to do this? And I decided I did. So here I am. When he explained what Move for Inclusion is, and that it's about accepting everyone regardless of bias, and recognizing the common humanity that we all share first, well, that's kind of like my life ethos. It's right up my alley. So that for me, that kind of sealed it right off the bat. It's really amazing when you see a group of, say, 50 6 and 7 year olds pay attention to someone, especially when they're all in a group. So just that presence that he has with the people he speaks to, I think has been really neat to see. But even, I mean, there have been times when, teachers or even the principal of one school, he took us out for lunch afterwards, and I wish I could remember his name, but and he just said, your message is as important to the adults listening and to the teachers listening as it is to the kids. And it's something that I think he and I have both recognized through this, is that kids kind of get it a little more than adults do. And it takes a while for biases to kind of build up in someone. And it kind of collects, right? So I think in a lot of ways, that's been the thing for me, is seeing that recognition in an adult's face, or seeing that click happen. Even his uncle, who joined us for a while, said, and before I had seen him speak, I didn't really quite understand what his message was, and now I do. And so that to me, that's really amazing, is to see. I mean, even someone, we all have those. We all have biases. We all have an inherent belief system that may or may not be true. And I think in a lot of ways that's been the most effective for me, is seeing that change in an adult as opposed to a child that tends to, normally kind of get it a little better, I think, before they've been ingrained with these false ideas. So, yeah.
Just want to ride in safe and be able to just kind of really relax a little bit for the rest of my life. I'm just kidding. But
Take in the culture here.
Taking the culture for a few days before we head back. But no, I feel. I don't know. It's hard to tell. I don't really know how to feel. I just kind of feel like I'm going through the motions right now. It hasn't really hit me yet that we've come so far. But last day. Day 95. Very excited to be done today, hitting mile 0. How many K away, Darren?
28.
28 to go.
Yeah.
Get to see my little daughter there, which is going to be great. One of those things where it's just like, if you honestly believe that you can do it, or you envision it, the power of that thought is something pretty remarkable. So the measure to me of a true inspiration is someone who puts aside their everyday life to make it so that another man's dream can become a reality, and I'm forever in his debt for the rest of my life, for sure. So I think that's his biggest compliment I can give anyone.
Well, you did it.
Bring it in, bud. Let's go get the Atlantic. Let's go get it. Is he crying?
No, he's totally crying.
Yeah, here it is.
I knew it was gonna happen.
Hey, you're still gonna focus on the road though, right?
Yeah. Believe me, I can see through tears. That's a talent I learned long ago. On this trip, actually, seeing through tears.
He's done an amazing feat. It's a feat that very, very few people in this world could ever do. And what makes it so remarkable is the engagements that he met along the way. He had a schedule the whole way, and to me, just being on this short part of his journey, we didn't have any engagements along the way in Newfoundland, but the ones that he made coming across the country it's crazy. I just can't believe that every day he made his goals. Went to his speaks. If he had to bike after, bike before, it's crazy. So he's a special guy, and this is going to be a special moment here a couple hours from now. So looking forward to it. 28. I'm out. Big guy's pushing the pace a little today. Looks like he wants to finish.
Right at the light!
Hey buddy, how are you? Good. Good to see you. How you doing?
Hey buddy, how are you?
Good.
How you doing? Hey Buck. Come here. How are you?
Baby.
Say hi, Daddy.
Hi baby, how are you? Oh, I miss you so much. You got a big hug? Oh, I love you.
No spills today.
How are you?
Me and Roy said, Stacy's getting dusted at the finish line.
He's like, you got
All done. Oh, I never let you go.
Hi. Hi, Brittany.
Hey, Brady. Hey, how are you, brother?
My name is Julie at Brocklehurst, and this is my son Brennan. Brennan's 10 years old, and he has cerebral palsy. We're really involved in a lot of organizations here in Newfoundland, as far as disability-related organizations. I'm a member of the Cerebral Palsy Association right here in St. John's. We just came out today to kind of support Nick, and I really think it's such an incredible thing that he's done. Obviously, riding across the country is just such an incredible feat, and it's obviously not something that all of us can do, but I think his journey can probably spark something in all of us, I think, to maybe think about what we can do in each of our communities to create an awareness and promote inclusion. And I heard an interview with him, with Nick, on the radio actually earlier this week, just on the local radio station here, and it caught my attention. I just heard the word inclusion, and that always sparks my attention. All about this little one. Hi, sweetheart. Hi, say hi, Brennan.
Did you know you were talking about
I was talking about you. It's all about these guys. Yeah. We do whatever we can, hey. Whatever it takes. Yeah. But no, it's just about creating an awareness, and I think he's just done an incredible job. Such an inspiration for all of us.
going from day one when 10K up the road I lost Nick. And it's kind of a funny story. I went up and there was debris on the side of the road. I went ahead of him. And I thought, well, there's no way he can bike through that. I've got to stop and wait for him. So I did. And half an hour went by and I thought, there's no way he's only doing like 5 kilometers an hour. I went back to look for him and he was nowhere to be found. So here we are, day one, and I've lost the cyclist that I'm the support driver for. And I kind of had a minor panic moment. And I thought, well, the only thing I can do, his phone was in the van with me. I couldn't even call him. An ambulance went by with the lights on, and I thought, dark thoughts, So I thought, well, my only option is to call the police. So I called them and described him to them. Told them what was going on. I said, this is kind of a funny story. She said, well, what were you supposed to do? And I said, well, we're going to go 30 kilometers ahead. And she says, well, go and see if he's there. So I race up the road and, high speed, thinking about pulling my hair out. Like, I was so scared. And I crest the hill and there he is. And so I pull up ahead of him, I get out of the van, I give him a big hug. We've only known each other well, not even well, we didn't know each other well yet. And he's like, what's going on? I said, I didn't know where you were. Turns out there was a bike path that left the highway right at that point. And anyway, he took it. Avoided me on the highway, probably like 50 feet away. And I said, all right, good. He's like, all right, ready to go? I said, yep. I just got to call the police back. So I think back to that moment, and that first day was really tough. The battery died in the van a little bit later on in the day because I'd left the 4-ways on too long. And I think back to that day and that night in Nanaimo when I thought, man, I don't know. I don't know if I can do this. And now here we are. And yeah, it's just I'm easily moved, and this is definitely one of those moving moments. So I'm really proud of this.
We are on our way to the spot in which we turned to go to Cape Fear, Cape Spear, and we're gonna ride out there today.
Nick tricked me into one more ride up to Cape Spear.
Catch these. Look, I can make it run down my cheek maybe.
There's adaptive sports magazines, let's say, and special things for adaption. I think blending everybody together is the best, so everybody's not so surprised to see or learn or hear about these people doing it. It's just another somebody doing something awesome.
Everybody is able to take part and support the inclusion movement. So for me, it's about empowering people to actually make change.
Everyone clap, yay!
He's like, you gotta